What's up, guys? My name is Brian Shaver, and I'm going to be starting a new series where I take a look at upcoming North American LCS matches and give you my thoughts on how they're going to play out. And what better time to start than North American LCS playoffs? Except, you know, the beginning of the split. But we'll get to that. So let's take a look at the quarterfinals. With an extra day's worth of matches on Sunday, we finally got all 4 of our teams seeded and ready for the playoffs. Luckily for us, we saw a preview of these matches on Sunday, which makes predicting these a little bit easier. So, let's take a look. First up is Liquid versus C9. If you had asked me at the beginning of the split to predict this, I would have said that Liquid was going to take it 3-1, based on the roster that they had built and the minimal changes that C9 had made. If you had asked me halfway through the split, I would have told you that C9 is going to take it 3-1, based on their solid performance in the first half and Liquid's communication issues in the bot lane. But here we are at the end of the split, and both teams have had their ups and downs, which makes this a bit of a difficult series to predict. Historically, C9's team infrastructure has more experience in a best-of-5 format and knows how to adapt throughout a series. But this year, Liquid's players have more experience than C9's. Liquid holds a 2-1 record over C9 throughout the split, and C9 has had a weak back half of the split, only going 4-7 including their tiebreaker games. Now, I don't think you should count C9 out just based on the back half of the split. When push comes to shove, in a high-pressure situation, all those players know how to perform well. However, I think Liquid's going to be able to take the series off the back of Doublelift's carry potential. The key for Liquid is to make sure that they get Impact a strong pick in the top lane. By making sure he doesn't get counterpicked, they can leave him in that island on the top lane and deal with a 4v4 in the rest of the map. They'll want to gank for Doublelift and enable him to carry the game. On the flip side, for Cloud9, they're going to want to make sure that Licorice gets a strong pick or a counter pick in the top lane. By pulling pressure away from the bottom lane, they'll be able to let Sneaky negate Doublelift's carry potential. But in the end, I'm going to give the edge to Liquid, simply because I trust Impact to be able to perform more in the top lane, especially with 8.5's meta top lane picks. Mostly tanks, like Sion, Ornn, Cho'Gath, Gnar, even a little bit of Shen. We do see some carry out of Gangplank and Camille, but Gangplank got nerfed in the last patch, and Camille hasn't seen as much play since she performs better into carries than she does into tanks. So, by taking a few things away from Licorice in the top lane, I think Liquid's going to take the series 3-2. Next up is TSM versus Clutch Gaming. This one's going to be a bit more one-sided than the Liquid C9 game. TSM had serious issues with Mike Young's synergy with the rest of the team in the beginning of the split, but are on an absolute warpath in the back half, going 9-2 in their last games, only surpassed by 100 Thieves' 9-1. Now, Clutch Gaming does have a 2-1 game lead over TSM throughout the split, but their wins came in weeks 4 and 5, and since then, TSM have completely cleaned up their gameplay. Now, don't get me wrong, Clutch Gaming is looking incredibly solid and has throughout the entire split. But other than Fepivin, none of their players really stand out against the competition. They're all solid, but they aren't star players. And against TSM, they're matched pound for pound, with TSM's players either looking equal to or better than their opponents all the way through the roster. TSM's going to want to focus on what they've been excelling at the last few weeks, putting pressure through Mike and Bjerg in the early game. Now, I never thought that I would say TSM and early game pressure in the same sentence, but here we are. They've been consistently able to steal away camps from the opposing jungler, and keep pushing their advantages so that they can outmacro their opponents in the mid and late game, where they've always excelled. Shutting down Lyra is going to be their primary focus, and will most likely get them the win. Clutch Gaming, on the other hand, is going to want to play safe in the early game and get picks and team fights in the mid game. Fepivin's got one of the lowest forward percentages in the league, but he's been able to use that to his advantage by farming up consistently and fighting well after hitting his power spikes. Hakuho's one of the most consistent supports in the league, and if Clutch can follow up on his picks and engage as well, TSM's going to have a hard time reacting. In the end though, strong macro gameplay is almost always going to beat out strong micro, and even though I think Clutch is going to take a win off of strong picks and good team fights, TSM's going to be too much for them to handle. That's why I think TSM's going to take it 3-1. So that was my look at the upcoming North American LCS quarterfinals. Let me know what you think, and thanks for watching. Also, I still don't know what to call this, so if you have any suggestions, leave me a comment. Thank God! Thank God. Thank God.